The Natural Golf Corporation has developed the perfect golf club, the perfect golf stroke, the perfect golf training system. It's possible to become a great ball striker in 30 days with natural golf clubs. If you can hammer a nail, you can become a great ball striker. Hello, my name is Jack Kirkendall. I'm the president and founder of Natural Golf. I'll be taking the next few minutes to demonstrate the difference between the traditional method of playing golf and Natural Golf's exciting new method. By applying the correct interpreted science of physics, anatomy, neuroscience, and kinesiology, Natural Golf has made the game of golf simpler and easier. By education, I'm a physicist, but I always wanted a second vocation of playing professional golf. In 1985, when I was 44 years old, I decided to play on the senior tour when I reached 50. But I had a problem. My scores were in the high 70s and low 80s, around a 12 handicap. Since the professional tour players shoot scores in the 60s, I had no reason to believe that both the equipment and swing methods had not been optimized. I made 4 assumptions that I felt were logical. If I had practice time, playing time, lessons, and correct equipment, I should be able to reach my potential. For 2 years, I did those 4 things. I spent an average of 5 hours a day working on my game. At the end of the 2 years, I had a 14 handicap. I averaged 2 strokes around worse than before beginning my concentrated efforts. That's when the physicist said, "This makes no sense. This can't be the best way. There's got to be a better way." It took me 45 days to discover the major errors of traditional golf instruction and scientifically develop the ideal swing method and club design. Initially, I greatly modified a set of traditional clubs, and in 45 days, using my new swing theory, I shot 3 subpar rounds of golf. I had a 4-under, 2-under, and a 3-under round. On the 4th day, I changed from medical and laser physics to golf physics. In the last 6 years, I've studied the physics, anatomy, neuroscience, and kinesiology of the golf stroke. I've developed, tested, and improved club design and refined the swing method. We have sold over 5,000 sets of USGA conforming clubs, and all of my swing and club design theories have been proven. For the first time in the history of the game, a company is using correctly interpreted science instead of perceptions and illusions. Here's a comparison between traditional clubs and swing methods and my natural method. The traditional swing demands 5 simultaneous complex rotary motions that must be perfectly timed while body center is moving upwards and backwards. The natural golf method is 1 straight-line hammering motion. The traditional method has a timing barrier that you can never pass. My natural method eliminates the timing barrier, and you can reach your real potential. Statistics published by the United States Golf Association shows that only 1/10 of 1% of male golfers shoot par golf. Only 2.5% are below a 5 handicap, and the average score for male golfers who turn in scorecards is 97. For ladies, only 0.06% shoot par, and less than 25% ever break 100. Why is golf so difficult, and why haven't teachers achieved better results? The answers are provided by correctly interpreted science. Neuroscience explains how the brain functions. Neuroscience tells us that all high-speed motions takes place in the subconscious mind. There is no conscious feedback ever of the exact muscles being used and their exact sequence of contraction. Therefore, every golf instruction that has ever been written is based on a perception, the sensations and feelings of the person providing the instructions. There is no reason for or can an instructor believe anything but his or her perceptions. However, science can easily demonstrate that all current golf instructions are perceptions and in no way describe what takes place during a swing. I believe that every golf instructor would love to give a lesson and the student improve, but statistics prove that this has not happened. The facts are that if you improve from taking lessons, your subconscious had to override the instruction. You always learned in spite of, not because of. Let's now scientifically look at the real reasons you don't and can't improve. There are 3 parameters that must be considered in every golf stroke. They are club design, body mechanics, and your subconscious program. We'll start with the club design. A Golf Digest comparison of high-tech and classic club heads illustrates the variation in flight path from club head twisting from ball impact. High-tech clubs are cavity-back, heel-toe weighted clubs. Classic clubs are flat on the back with a more even weight distribution. The study was performed with a swing machine to ensure a square club face at ball impact. The study shows that if you hit any club on its center of gravity, the ball will go the distance you expect and have about a 10-yard variation in flight path. But what happens when you hit a high-tech club in the upper toe area? Because there is no weight in this area, the ball kicks the club face back and out while the heavy toe weighting drives down and under the ball. The study shows that balls will go up to 30 yards to the right. With a classic club, the weight is more evenly distributed. There is less club face twisting, but the ball still goes close to 20 yards to the right. What happens when you hit a high-tech club in the heel area? The heavy toe weighting flips over, putting huge side spins on the ball, and the ball will go as much as 50 yards to the left. The classics twist less, but the ball still goes up to 20 yards to the left. The accuracy of a high-tech club due to twisting from ball impact is approximately 80 yards. The accuracy of classic clubs is approximately 40 yards. Both clubs are poorly designed, but the high-tech club heads are twice as inaccurate as the classics. High-tech clubs are the most inaccurate club heads ever designed. So why do people play with high-tech clubs, and why do manufacturers make them? To correct for a slice. Almost all amateurs slice the ball. High-tech means fault correction. High-tech clubs are designed to make a ball go straight when hit in the heel area with a scooping, slicing swing. Amateurs crowd the ball, have an outside-to-in swing path, and impact the ball in the heel area about 50% of the time. The club face rotates and the hook spin offsets the slice spin. The 50 yards left designed into the club head offsets the 50 yards right of the slicing, scooping swing, and the ball will actually go straight. So why haven't scores gotten better? Players only hit the heel area about 50% of the time. The other 50% they catch the sweet spot and the toe area. They now have a slice and a banana ball. You can never become a more accurate golfer than the accuracy of the club heads you're using. How can professionals play with high-tech clubs and win consistently if they're so poorly designed? They don't. Professionals hit the sweet spot, the center of gravity, about 99% of the time. Remember, any club that you hit on the center of gravity will go the distance you expect and have only about a 10-yard variation in flight path. But about 1% of the time, professionals hit the heel and the toe, and they don't escape the laws of physics either. High-tech clubs cost professionals between 1 and 3 strokes a round. This is why your consistent winners on tour use blade clubs. High-tech club winners are streak winners. When their timing and tempo is perfect and they hit the center of gravity 100% of the time, they win. When it's off just 1 stroke a round, they don't. This is a natural club head. This is a high-tech club head. The natural club face is approximately 1/2 inch shorter than a high-tech. The longer the lever arm, the more twisting due to ball impact. The natural head is approximately 1/2 inch taller in the heel area. This allows the center of gravity to be placed in the center of the club face and above the ball. With a high-tech club, the center of gravity is below the ball and towards the heel. With the natural club head, the radius to any point of ball impact is the same, and club head twisting is eliminated. When the center of gravity is below the ball kicks the face backwards and ball speed off the club face is reduced due to the glancing nature of the blow. When the center of gravity is above the ball kicks the club face downwards. This eliminates a glancing blow from ball impact, and there is maximum transfer of energy from the club head to the ball. The natural club is 1 full club longer than any high-tech club up to the 6-iron and up to 2 clubs longer than any high-tech clubs from the 4-iron to the 2-iron. The natural driver head is built with the same technology as the irons. The natural driver is the longest hitting driver in the world today. Along with the poor club design, manufacturers make the lie of the clubs such that it falls across the fingers of the right hand. A finger grip creates the 2 axes and 4 levers in your primary power system of the right arm. The club forms 1 axis and the right arm forms the 2nd axis. There's an angle between the forearm and the shaft. The shaft is a lever, the palm is a lever, the forearm is a lever, and the upper arm is a lever. You can't take the club back on a single plane because you couldn't generate sufficient force from this position. You must rotate the forearms in order to get the 2-axis system into a plane where force can be generated. It's scientifically impossible to rotate a 2-axis system on the same plane. As you start the downswing, the force generated will attempt to straighten the 2 axes into a single axis. Body center cannot stay stable with a traditional golf swing. Body center must move upwards and backwards with a 2-axis system. Many instructors teach that the spine angle remains the same throughout the swing. This is an incorrect perception. The spine angle must move upwards and backwards in a traditional golf swing. Here's Seve Ballesteros at address and impact. Here's the axis of the arms. Here's the axis of the shaft. You can see the 2 axes when a line is formed between the ball and the right shoulder. At impact, you can see that the shaft and arm try to form a straight line from the ball to the right shoulder. Body center must move upwards and backwards. With a traditional swing, as you start the downswing, the upper body will be spinning on this plane. The arms will be moving on an oblique plane. The hand will be rotating inside the arm plane. The club head will be rotating on a 4th plane. And the club face will be rotating on a 5th plane inside the club head plane. So what you're trying to do with a traditional swing is 5 simultaneous rotary motions of body, arms, hands, club head, and club face, while body center is moving upwards and backwards while the club head is traveling close to 100 miles per hour, and you have only 2 degrees of club face error to hit a golf ball in the fairway. Not to hit the ball where you want it to go, just to keep it in the fairway. The motion is simply too complex for the average player to ever consistently square the club face. You have a timing barrier. Statistics have proven that only the 1% who have world-class timing and tempo and 5 hours a day to practice can shoot par golf with traditional clubs and swing methods. If you've been playing golf for 3 years, statistics prove that you're within 3 strokes of where you'll play for the rest of your life. Now I'll demonstrate a system that will seem like magic, and in a sense it is. It's the magic of science. It's the magic of knowledge. It's the magic of understanding. It's the magic of a hammer. I'll absolutely guarantee you that you won't put a hammer in your fingers and rotate your hand back and stick it over your head and jerk your arm down and jerk your body upwards and backwards while flailing away at the ball. You'll hold it like a hammer. You'll cock it like a hammer, and then you'll hammer the ball. What I've invented is 3-foot hammers for striking golf balls. The lies are more upright and the grip is placed in the lifeline. This creates a single-axis 3-lever system. There's a straight line from the club head to the right shoulder. Now you can take the club back on a single plane, cock the wrist exactly like a hammer, and then make a simple right-handed, underhanded hammering motion, and the ball will go dead straight with pure backspin. Put the grip in the lifeline of the left hand and wrap the thumb and fingers around the shaft. Place the right hand on the grip like you would a hammer and address the ball. You don't need waggles or presses or tension of any kind. Just get comfortable and transfer the weight to the right side. Cock the hammer and now transfer the weight back to the left side while hammering with the right arm. Here's a 9-iron which I hit about 150 yards. Here's a driver which I hit around 260 to 280 yards. In 1988, I was explaining my system to Mark Evershed, a Canadian golf professional, and when I finished, he said, "That's Moe Norman." I said, "Who's Moe Norman?" Mr. Evershed provided me with a tape made by Canadian TV on Mr. Norman. That was my first introduction to the greatest ball striker and player in the history of golf. I had independently discovered the scientifically perfect method that Mr. Norman had for almost 50 years been using. His accomplishments prove that ball striking can be perfected and that the only variable is the change in playing conditions. These are the tournaments that Moe has won. 2 Canadian Amateurs, 2 Canadian PGAs, 3 Manitoba Opens, 3 Alberta Opens, 1 Quebec Open, 1 Atlantic Open, 2 Saskatchewan Opens, 8 Canadian Senior Championships, 3 Ontario Senior Championships, 11 Florida Winter Tours, 2 Fort McMurray Opens, and he's played in 2 Masters and 1 World Cup. Moe has over 40 course records, 3 with scores of 59, 4 with scores of 61, and 33 more at scores of 63 to 66. In the 1960s, Moe Norman had a stroke average of just above 68, the lowest stroke average of any player to ever play the game. Here's Moe's perfect scientific golf swing. Observe how he reaches for the ball. The straight line between his shoulders and the club head. Observe how his feet stay on the ground. No spinning of the body. Observe that it's an arm and hand action, very little shoulder rotation. Observe the beauty of a perfect golf swing. In the famous golfers of the 40s and 50s series cards, Moe Norman is card number 23. Moe Norman was born in Kitchener, Ontario in 1929. He may be golf's most eccentric player, but Lee Trevino, Tom Watson, and others know that Norman may well be the most accurate golfer ever. He once hit 6 balls down a fairway. 2 were touching one another while others were nearby. Norman amazed golfers with his extremely unorthodox style. He stood far from the ball and played so quickly that he called himself the 747 of golf. One look and I hit it. Norman was beset by deep insecurities that kept him from the top, but he thrilled golfers with his sheer artistry and continued to do so into the 1990s at clinics across Canada. Here's Moe's swing in slow motion. Observe how he's facing the golf ball at impact. No spinning of the body and those feet on the ground. These three positions are the key positions in every golf swing. This is where the force comes from in a swing. That right forearm creates 76% of your club head speed. Now just watch the beauty and grace of a perfect golf swing. The only scientifically perfect swing for over 50 years. If you can hammer a nail, you can become a great ball striker.